Hi, my name's Allison Clark, and welcome to another episode of Cowbells and Conversations, Ideas That Ring. Today, I have my friends from Georgia with me talking about how we can be really more mindful and taking better care of ourselves. So actually, I originally met Dennis when we were working out in the gym at a conference for NSA, and then I was able to meet Angela later on. So thank you both for joining me, and I would love for you to just really introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you do, and how you got started in this.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you go ahead.
We've been in business together and we're still married.
Yay!
That's right. So far.
For 20 years. We've written 2 books together. We're working on our 3rd. And actually, we were both in corporate America. When we came out of grad school, our focus was in business and psychology. So we were both in corporate. We didn't know each other. Eventually, we knew each other through business, but we're not together. So it was a long time of knowing each other before we actually got married. So that was interesting. And one day we just looked at each other. We were just getting burned out in corporate, and we really had a passion for entrepreneurship. And so we wanted to step out and really follow our passion around mindfulness and well-being.
Yeah. Actually, and I remember, by the way, Allison, the workout. And that I was struck even right then that, you were really committed to self-care, which, we'll be touching on today. And it's something we feel very strongly about. And to that end, we had been doing mindfulness meditation separately. We both learned at a very young age, Angela at 15 and me at 17.
Wow.
Meditate. Yeah. And it's something that has really helped us throughout our lives, as well as many other strategies. So we were able to fold it into our business. And as we work with executives, or we go into corporate settings, or with cancer patients, or with our individual clients, we're able to use those components that we've learned professionally, but that we've also practiced personally for many years.
Wow, what a gift to have that at such a young age. I mean, not saying that you're old, but be able to practice that, because I'm seeing with my clients now that everyone is so overwhelmed with what they have to do. We're constantly connected to technology, and so many people don't take time to recharge themselves that we're seeing the stress levels go up. But I'm also seeing it with some of my clients that meditation apps are really hot right now, and people are now hitting that tipping point that they know they have to do something for their brain. So what are some things that you not only practice, but also what are you doing with teams and individuals that's really helping people have more balance and clarity?
It's interesting, Allison, what we've noticed as well, talking about the tipping point, is a lot of companies are reaching out to us to bring in wellness for their leadership. One of our critical taglines is, we want to help you feel your best and perform at your best, because we know that wellness and peak performance go hand in hand.
For sure.
You have to sacrifice that. So Intercontinental Hotels is one of our biggest clients, and they have asked us back again and again and again over the last several years to help them with both wellness and peak performance for their leadership teams. And what's so fantastic is now we see that they're helping each other. Here, becoming self-sustaining, and that's really gratifying for us to see.
Well, it's accountability within the company. And it makes sense because it affects the bottom line, the healthcare impact, but also I'm sure that turnover, sick days are going down once you're doing this work with some of your clients.
Absolutely. Engagement is going up, which is huge. Of course, the whole idea around diversity and inclusion is absolutely connected into mindfulness and wellness. Most of our time at work, and so we want to feel good while we're there.
Yeah, and in your work too, Allison, that there's a real syndrome of presenteeism going on in the corporate world, where people are there, so to speak, but they're really dissociated and they're not there. Mindfulness is a great segue to go in there and to be able to say, okay, this is what you can do in the present moment. But for leaders to coach people, and for us to come in, yes, but also for, the individual employee to be able to see where they are and to savor it, because, the mind is so tricky. So mindfulness, well, the human condition is the mind wants to be somewhere else. I want to be on that beach, or I want to be back there, or, oh yeah, during the holidays, which is all good, you're thinking ahead, but you tend to end up sacrificing the present moment. That happens in corporate than we would like to think. So we'd like to really be able to help with things like that.
And what are some tips? I don't even know who said this, but someone said, be where your feet are, like stay right in the moment. And it, like you just said, it's so hard to keep our brains there. So when I coach some of my clients, I suggest that they don't use technology in meetings. Like, do not even have your phone present, because it's such a distraction. Yes. What are some things in the workplace? Because we are, those being, like, ping, everyone's, oh, what's that text? Or, like, we're so easily distracted. What are some ways that we can be more mindful at work, but also be more mindful at home? Because so many relationships are being affected because we aren't staying in the moment. We aren't listening to people. So what are some realistic and easy tips that you would say at work and in our home that we can really be more mindful?
Well, you were talking about technology, and in fact, our biology has not caught up with our technology, and we are finding that people are overextended and overstimulated largely because of technology. We're working with parents or leaders, and sometimes they're one and the same. We do ask them, we give them a digital challenge to not plug in first thing in the morning, to give it 30 minutes or an hour, and to plug an hour or so before bedtime. And so we invite people to do that in corporate and as well at home.
We started to see that years ago. We had one guy that we were working with, a senior vice president in an organization, great guy, highly successful, but he's having a lot of difficulties when he came to see us, chest pains, etc., terrible insomnia. And we learned, Allison, that he was sleeping with not only his phone, but also his laptop. He said, well, I could get calls from China during the night. I may be on call. So he never really was able to rest. And we started to work with him on that, and to institute some simple things like being able to push away from some of that, disconnect a little bit more even during the day, and take what we call some sacred pauses, just some 5-minute breaks to do a quick mindful walk around without your phone, or to do some simple deep breathing, sit and just be plain still for a few minutes. And we saw him some months later. Honestly, we weren't that hopeful. We were hopeful, but he was very convicted. No, I'm going to do this. We saw him months later at a town hall meeting, and he came up and he looked really different. And we said, gosh, how are you? And he goes, I'm fantastic. Not only do I not have the phone and the laptop in the bed any longer, but I don't even turn it on until I get to the office.
Yay!
I learned to meditate. It was very heartwarming.
Very gratifying.
Well, you changed his life. Without sleep, we really can't function. And so many people are not sleeping because of technology, the impact that's having on our brain.
Yes. And our brain, but also our family and our peers at work and direct reports. And so it was interesting at this town hall meeting, he went on to invite the 250 people in the room to also do some of the things that he was doing. And that's so important to transform corporate culture when leadership shows up.
Yes.
Just it, rather than just the consultants.
Yes.
Exciting.
Well, that's a great point, because leaders, we are demonstrating what other people should do. So if leaders at companies are on their phone all the time, and they aren't engaged, and they aren't sleeping, and they aren't taking care of themselves, they are being that role model. And I'm really passionate that everyone's a leader. It's not necessarily your title. So one person can truly start to change what a culture looks like just by demonstrating to be more present, to be even more respectful. Technology is making people so disrespectful in meetings, in grocery stores, everywhere. I believe it's such a problem with just being more human. So really, model that can make a huge influence.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we talk about a lot, Allison, and we were talking about with you earlier, is just how important your morning ritual is.
Yes.
Doing in the morning sets the tone for your entire day. And the most successful people in the world have a positive morning ritual. And so we always invite people to do that as a way to take care of themselves and be more mindful.
Yeah. And to that extent, I mean, you can do many different things. And sometimes people feel like we mean, well, you got to exercise first thing in the morning. Necessarily, it's great if you do, but you could also embrace other ideas. You could do some, easy yoga. You don't even have to go to a class. You can do some inspirational readings. You could listen to an uplifting podcast like Cowbells and Conversation.
Yes,
you could. I mean, right? Something humorous, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you could do to start your day versus, I mean, we feel pretty strongly, don't get up and turn on that TV and start listening to the news or your cell phone. Give yourself a little space, for goodness sakes.
Yes. And then so we were talking, and you do a big ritual, which most people probably can't take an hour and a half in the morning. But tell us what you do, because you're definitely the masters of this, and you really commit to yourself to do this. So what does that look like for you?
Well, we keep it fresh. So it changes, every 3 to 6 months. We used to always do our morning ritual together. Now we blend it. Sometimes we're apart, sometimes we're together. We meditate, we do some journal writing, we do some visualization and some gratitude practice. We do some contemplative prayer practice, and sometimes we'll listen to something really positive, uplifting, inspirational, motivational.
And often throughout the week, we're going to weave in things like, well, we feel pretty strong about the physical, which our gym, that we're going to go to the gym, 3 or 4 times a week too. So it does, it brings in the idea about planning. I mean, you have to really plan it and carve out the time. You can't let it the day just, okay, well, let me just see what happens when I wake up, because the best laid plans like that, get off course.
Right. And you are like me. We get up at 4:30-ish in the morning, and there's very little that comes in that can interrupt your schedule at 4:30 in the morning.
Right.
That's right.
So wait, and a lot of people like to exercise at night. There's morning and night people out there. I get it. But also a lot of people, like, if I say, oh, I'll do it in the afternoon, I won't do it in the afternoon because too much comes up. So I love starting your day like that, getting your brain in the right space. And also with exercise, then you also have that energy, that you have throughout the day, that you can keep that. But you've invested a little bit of time to yourself, which is going to give you more energy to give to other people. A lot of people are talking about, now you hear, I mean, every retail store has been decorated for Christmas since August. But
That's right. That's right. Gosh. Wow.
That's true.
But they're talking, the holidays are stressful for people, and also sometimes it's a sad time for people. And a lot of people are saying, oh, in January, I'm going to take better care of myself. And I want people to start taking care of themselves today after they listen to this. So what are a couple easy things that every single person realistically can do to take care of themselves, to give us more energy and to really be more mindful? So you're the experts. You've been practicing this since you've been teenagers. So what is something we can do to not only do this for the holidays, but also start to make it a habit?
Well, I think it's a mindset, Allison, and Forbes just came out with an article today that said self-care is not self-indulgence, it's a discipline. Mindset of this is an investment in myself. Dennis and I always say is that consistency is key. So one thing that stops people is they think I don't have time, it's too much. But if you, a little bit goes a long way. That's our message. And so if you'll do something around self-care every single day, that's really going to put you quantum leaps ahead 6 months from now, a year from now. So lots of things people can do for self-care.
They can, and it can be small things, but some of it can be very, very small day to day. It can be like stopping, as I mentioned earlier. You just do some slow belly breathing, just breathing in through your nose, fill up your belly. But yeah, even as we're sitting here now, right, and viewers are doing it, just you sit back, you just breathe a few times.
Yes.
Essential thing, but getting back to the stress, it's typical in our society, and we're seeing this more and more, that people either are slightly hyperventilating through life, or they're like this, holding breath, so to speak. And so when you invite them, just even if you say the word breathing, people will attend to that. But I think those small things, because as the holidays are coming on, great things about the holidays, but you can get overwhelmed and you can get caught up, and then you forget, like, oh my gosh, it's been 4 days I haven't done any self-care.
So really to plan it, to make yourself a priority, and small things.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes. Awesome. Well, that is, that's definitely the ideas that ring to make ourselves a priority. It's those small things that we can do. Don't turn the news on first thing in the morning. Challenge yourself to turn off technology an hour before bed, and also 30 minutes to an hour first thing in the morning to really recharge yourself with something positive, get your heart rate up, and these small things will make a huge impact for you, not only at work, but also with your personal relationships.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
there's every reason to believe it'll work. And you just have to kind of manage your expectations as you go through the holidays and be mindful of what you commit to. It's okay to say no. We're all just to be good to say it's okay. You can do that.
Yeah.
Yep. Good. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Allison.
Such a delight.
I love the difference that you make in just every single person that you touch. I love all your posts. And if people want more information about you, what's a good way to find you?
They can go to pathtobestself.com. Walking on a path.
I love it.
And yeah, we love the work you do too, Allison. No kidding. You're quite inspirational.
Yes, you are.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you for joining. And let's all make ourselves a priority.